Greetings! Here taking in a rest stop and a lovely view above Black Canyon Creek in the Black Canyon Wilderness here in Central Oregon. We're here in mid-June and it's essentially late spring for Central Oregon and the high country, and we finally got a beautiful break in the weather after months and months and months of the wettest spring in recent memory here in Oregon. And of course everything is still beautifully green and lush and everything's coming out and blooming. And I'm up here above the trail because of all that rain. It brushed in the trail so much that I can't even find it. I made it maybe a mile and a half up the trail and it just kind of disappeared on me. And I was faced with punching brush and just kind of went, you know what, I'm not going to wander through the brush here getting full of, stickers and spines and thorns and stuff. I mean, there are stinging nettles and wild rose and everything that could have thorns on it down along that creek. And it's tough going right now with it being so thick. And even getting to the trail itself, well, it wasn't so easy. Driving to it was a cakewalk. Surprisingly, you come out of Dayville and you just go up the South Fork of the John Day River. Go past my stuff here. And the road was pretty darn good. You come into some really cool little narrow canyons, and eventually you'll find the Black Canyon trailhead. But you have to cross the river in order to get to the trail. And right now, with all the water and rain and everything that we've had this spring, one of the super wettest springs I can remember. It's just rained and rained and rained and rained. The river was way too high and swift there at the trailhead for me to actually get across. I would have been swept downstream and had to figure out a way through the brush back to the trailhead. So I'm not going to go get swept downstream. I'm just going to find my way through the brush. And so I went upstream a little bit from the trailhead. It's very windy today, pardon that. And still punched brush anyway, and it was terrible. I got all full of nettles and things. But you can see this sort of crack in the ground there. I think that's called Aldrich Gulch. And the creek here basically intersects with that, and going between the two is the South Fork of the John Day River. And there's a little road along it, little dirt road. And so I camped out near the trailhead last night, which there was kind of a wide spot in the road to do. And it was just so beautiful. The weather was really nice, and it was very quiet, but I wasn't able to access the trail that easily. And when I did get on the trail again, it was just so brushed in from all the extra rain we've had that I was constantly punching brush. And on top of that, be wary. You have to do a number of creek crossings. The trail crosses the creek a bunch of times. So if you're going to be coming out here in shoes and hiking boots and pants, which would be wise if you don't want to get full of stickers and spines and thorns, you're going to have to stop and go through the creek many times, take off your boots and everything, unless you just don't care about them getting wet. But me and my shorts and sandals did just fine. I was able to jam right across. That was cool. But it's just a really pretty wilderness. There's all sorts of trails once you get upstream here a little ways. There's intersections where you can go through all sorts of different places out in the Black Canyon Wilderness, and of course the Ochoco National Forest that surrounds it. But out here and along the high country is so much better. I wanted to be able to get in a view and kind of see what I'm dealing with, because you know, I don't know if you could necessarily see it here just because of how far away I am. That's kind of cool. There's a lot of rocks like this that are just kind of sitting there. If you can sort of make it out right down in here, it just gets so slotted when it starts out that you can't see where you're going or what you're doing. There's all these tall pines and you can't see anything. So I got to a point where I just couldn't see any more trail, and I went, I have no idea where to go. The other side of the creek is nothing but brush, and I'm going, I am so sick of punching brush. I'm going high. I want to be able to see what I'm dealing with here. So I hiked my butt up the side of the hill here on these nice steep slopes, and it was worth it because look at how pretty this is. Everything's still green and beautiful. Everything's blooming. The lupins, everything is blooming. It's just, that's one of the nice things though about the trail right now is you're going through these waist deep fields of purple lupin. Oh, it's just lovely down there. Really thick brush. But I mean, you can see, maybe even make it out over there. These big open hillsides. That's all the yellow over there is balsam root. Huge fields of it. Lovely stuff. And you can see all these layers, the layers of basalt that were laid down millions of years ago, and it's slowly eroding away. And there's all these, chutes and talus slopes and scree slopes. It's really stunning, rugged, hardcore country. Everything's crumbling and rocky and eroding away. And there's a lot of these cool looking old junipers. There's some pretty gnarled ones. But one thing I will remind you of, if you go flipping rocks over, there's scorpions everywhere out here. I found a number of scorpions so far just flipping little rocks over. They're not very big. They're only, maybe an inch long, but doesn't mean they can't put the hurt on you. And there's all kinds of cool rocks to hop on and jump across, woo, climb. But getting out here is pretty easy. You just, like I said, come out of Dayville and maybe like 8 miles up the road. According to the Forest Service map, there's a campground up the road a little bit, but I didn't see anything. There's no signs. So that's why I just camped out at the trailhead, which I pretty much always do. Makes it so much easier. Then you don't have to pack up camp, drive to the trailhead, then do your hike, and then get back, drive back, go back to camp. Makes it so much easier. I can just go right back to camp. I'm probably going to go ahead and pack up and head on to the next adventure because it doesn't look like there's a lot I can really accomplish out here considering how brushed in the trail was. So maybe in a few months I could come back here with my backpack and see what I can find up in the up the trail there, and some of the other intersections and some of the confluences, because there's creeks coming down all through here. Really, really cool. But definitely want to thank you for joining me for a few minutes here to take in the vista above Black Canyon Creek in the Black Canyon Wilderness here in Oregon, to enjoy these finely blue skies. Incredibly beautiful green vistas and this spring-like time here. And as you saw earlier, as always, ants.